podcasts out there, but only one with this kind of energy.
Welcome to EVP Show Recap Prediction Sports. Let go, Show Recap Prediction Sports
In one podcast.
Welcome to EVP Show Recap Prediction Sports. Let go.
What's going on, everybody? It's the EVP from the EVP Show. I'm live with your NXT recap. Just retweeting that I am a little under the weather today, so you have to bear with me. Feel like crap. Gonna be fine, get through it. NXT was good, but it wasn't great. I don't know. I don't think it was the best I've ever seen, but it wasn't bad. Go ahead and give it a few minutes. So, the underground match was good, but it was a little bit underwhelming, I think. Obviously, the winner was very expected, but I don't know. I thought for sure that maybe it was going to be a little longer, but it is what it is. On that, it was very expected. Kendall's not going to be dropping that title anytime soon. So, sucks to hear about Shiloh. Shiloh's going to be out for a little while, or it looks like a pretty good while. He had talked about it tonight. And we do have a Women's North American Championship match next week, which I am surprised about. Looks like somebody's going to get signed next week. So, Charlotte's out 9 months. He has a fracture in his face. That is just insane. That's like really big. All right, let's get my stuff ready to go. Shout out to Greg for reposting the stream, GW Media page. All right, so I'm gonna try to get through this. Like I said, my voice is kind of shot a little bit from last night. A little bit of a cold today, but we're gonna power through it. So the big match tonight was obviously the NXT Women's Championship match, the Underground match, which obviously wasn't a big shocker there. Kendall got busted up though, so Lola Vice has never lost an Underground match. Normally, when they say that, that means they're about to lose one. Same kind of went for Brock. A lot of crazy stuff going on in the last 24 hours. Obviously, Brock went on Pat McAfee and announced his retirement, so maybe he is done. I don't know. I don't think for sure he's coming back now, especially with him going on Pat McAfee. But I thought there was a possibility, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like he's done. Like he wants to spend time with his kids, and I can understand that. He's a little older. He said his daughter is going to be going after the Olympics 2028. So. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on. Looks like there's a free agent coming to NXT next week. So I know the rumor mills are going to be running rampant. I'm already seeing the Zilla Patus and the Enzo Amores. I don't have any information on that right now. So I'll try to find out definitely before Sunday for sure. See if we can find out who this free agent could it be. Mara Sade from TNA. She did put a post out on August the 8th. I guess that's her free agent date or something like that. So could it be her? Robert Stone didn't ever say whether it was a male or a female. So we'll see. I don't think it's Enzo. But we'll see. I know the rumor mill is running rampant. So we'll find out. Let's go ahead and get through it. or get started, not get through it. So this is your NXT recap live here on the EVP show. Shout out to everybody that tuned into the Raw recap last night. You guys killed it. Over 150 comments. We went for 2 hours last night. So shout out to you guys for that. It was a long Raw stream. Very long Raw stream. NXT usually go pretty short and sweet to the point. The way I like it. So this is August the 4th, 2026. The NXT recap from the Capitol Wrestling Center, the Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. We're going to see the NXT Women's Champion Kendall Gray defend her title against the undefeated in the NXT Underground match, Lola Vice, the former NXT Women's Champion. Plus, we're going to get a couple more or one more title match. The Vanity Project, which they've been champion 4 or 5 months now, pretty good while. WWE NXT Tag Team Champion Brad Baylor and Ricky Smokes will defend their titles against WWE NXT North American Champion Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights. Miles Bourne's already the men's NXT men's North American champion. So could we get a double champion? Possibly. I was really surprised by that outcome, truthfully. I don't know if Vanity Project's been pretty hot, but we'll see how it plays out with Miles Bourne holding 2 titles. We're gonna get the WWE NXT Championship match. It's an NXT Underground match. Kendall Gray versus Lola Vice. Kendall got busted up really good. So we got some comments. What's going on, Tyler? Road that Batty Wren kept her title. She does. She did keep her title. She gets a title match against Zarya next Tuesday for the NXT North American Championship, which she was not going to win, by the way. But it's good for her to be moving up. I think that WWE loves to do the best friend angle and have her turn. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but Kendall's going to be champion for probably until Stand and Deliver, at least earliest. I can't see Kendall dropping the title before Stand and Deliver, so she is better than 98% of the women on the main roster right now, so that's pretty wild, in my opinion. Well, won't she win another title? It's just not time yet. Zarya, they're building Zarya up. I mean, she could, but she could eventually be the one to take that title off of Zarya, but I don't think it's going to be right now. There's so many challengers right now for Kendall. It just doesn't really. I don't know. I don't think Ren wins. Truthfully, next week. Now, will she win the NXT Women's North American Championship eventually? I do believe she will. At some point. I forgot to share my post with those guys. I don't have anything against Kendall. I love Kendall, so. Ren, sorry. I just don't think that she's going to win the title right now. I just think it's a little too soon, but we'll see. She could. You never know. With the NXT. So that's why for me, it's the greatest. It's definitely the best division that they have. So I don't know what happened. What happened to rest in peace to Dory Funk Jr. too as well. He passed away today. Don't have the bell salute on here, but rest in peace. We're also going to see a tag team match with Jada Parker and Thea Hill, which we saw Thea Hill defeated the WWE Women's Evolve champion Nikita Lyons on Wednesday on Evolve. She is going to be getting a shot at Nikita's championship soon. And also Carmen Petra was her partner tonight. Looks like Nikita might be in trouble against Ren. I haven't been keeping up with TNA since I stopped doing the show, but at one time I know Ren was in that women's TNA television tournament, Knockouts television tournament. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't watched TNA in 2 weeks, so I don't know how it's going. But I do know that Ren had advanced in the first round, so I don't know if she's still in it or what. I'd have to look at the brackets. We're gonna get a singles match with Kiana Carver or CK Prosper. It looks like they're doing a slow turn with Kiana Carver. Maybe not a full baby face, but definitely not the crazy heel that he was. He's kind of, he's definitely calming down a lot and finding ways to win matches. He had a big issue with Booker T at one time, and they definitely got that settled down. So, and I said something last week about Mika Lockwood and Kiana Carver. There's something brewing there with them two. I don't know exactly what it is at this point, but they had a little stare down last week and had another one this week. So I don't know. I could see they are really good friends. They work together in LFG. I could see Mika maybe leaving Jackson Drake and managing Kiana Carver. I think that could work out well. Like I said, they are pretty good friends. So we'll see. But the show opens up with the graphic. Like I said, rest in peace to Dory Funk Jr., who passed away today. So thoughts and prayers with him and his family for their loss today. So everybody was wondering where he was. He wasn't on TV for a while. Miss Parker, Cake, HBK, one of his best songs. I love NXT. Only been watching it a little over a year, but the women's division is just top notch. Grayson Waller showed up last week. He was cooking on the microphone last week too. He told the men back there that they were all soft, that only 10% was ready for the main roster, and they were all women. Said he was putting the whole division on notice, and he was coming after the NXT championship. Grayson Waller will face Cruz Montana next Tuesday on NXT in a #1 contenders match, with the winner facing Tony D at NXT Heatwave. For some crazy reason, I don't really know why, but I feel like Grayson's going to find a way. And so I don't think he beats Cruz Montana by no means. It probably needs to be Cruz and Tony D, but for some crazy reason, I feel like there's a way maybe Grayson Waller finds a way to get in that match at Heatwave. I think that would be an easier way for Tony D to not to get pinned. Cruz Montana is just coming over from TNA as the champion, so I highly doubt they're going to have him lose to Grayson Waller. So, yeah, they got to find a way to. They could do they could do Cruz and Tony D 1-on-1. I don't know. We'll see, but I believe that Cruz Montana is probably walking away with that NXT championship at NXT Heatwave, which I will be having a prediction show. I completely forgot about it today. I was going to make a post, but we're still about 27 days, almost a little less than 4 weeks. So I'll probably post it next week. Looking for people to join the prediction show panel for NXT Heatwave. This is going to be my first year to not have a fantasy football league, so I'm definitely excited about that. So we take Grayson Waller from last week and Cruz Montana's confrontation with the NXT. Just what I talked about last week. Grayson Waller put the locker room on notice. He's coming after the NXT championship. Cruz obviously showed up. He wants the NXT championship. Tony D said he believed everything that Cruz Montana said with all the passion that he had, but the only thing that is not true is that he is the NXT champion, and he doesn't plan on giving that up anytime soon. So we're headed for, it looks like, a Cruz Montana Tony D'Angelo for the NXT championship at Heatwave. Could Grayson Waller be at it? Absolutely. It would be a good way for Tony D not to eat a pin. So let's go ahead and get it started. Vic Joseph and WWE Hall of Famer Booker T on commentary welcome us to the show. We see the pre-show rivals of Olivier Sinclair and her rank QCC, the women's NXT champion Kendall Gray. What's going on? At Al Simmons CHC. Love your profile picture, man. By the way. Grayson is not believable to me, only a talker that never backs it up. Yeah, he couldn't cut it on the main roster. It's gonna be interesting what they do with him because he didn't get cut in the roster cut. So they see something in Grayson Waller, so I don't know. I think if he doesn't get in the NXT championship match, then he's not winning the NXT title. So I don't know what they do with him. Maybe they can keep him around. I don't know. He's definitely not got a spot on the main roster. So he's fine. I don't think Austin Theory is any better, truthfully, even though Austin Theory does have a victory over John Cena. I don't know. I think they're both kind of in the same boat. You think he will be released? I mean, it's possible. It's definitely possible. TKO is going to start slapping that hook. But it was good to see Lola Vice. A lot of emotion, obviously, after the match with her and Kendall Gray. It's kind of the pass. It wasn't really a pass on the torch, but sort of. Lola's never been beat in the underground match. This is 100% her last match in NXT. She will be going up to be with her boyfriend on SmackDown. Wepa Up himself, one half of the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, Damian Priest. So we'll be seeing Lola soon on the SmackDown roster. The women's SmackDown roster is already just completely stacked. So, yeah, SmackDown is getting Lola Vice soon, which I'm looking forward to that. It seems like a free agent is coming in. Robert Stone did not say whether it was a male or a female. A lot of speculation. Zilla Fatu, obviously, is a name floating around. Enzo Amore. Mark Sade is also a big name floating around as well. I don't think it's her, though, truthfully. So that's going to kind of narrow it down. I think she's going to go to AEW. Her boyfriend's in AEW, so I don't see why she would come from TNA to WWE when her boyfriend's in AEW's, but we'll see. I don't think it's her. I think she's going to AEW. So could it be Enzo? Maybe. Zilla? I don't know. We'll see. We'll definitely find out next week. I think it would be wild to have. I don't know. I don't know who it is. I don't think it's Enzo. We'll see. We'll see next week. So get the pre-show rivals. Jada Parker makes her way out to the ring for the first match of the night, and she has got the crowd hyped up, singing Miss Parker. And Thea Hale, as I said when I was covering TNA, I know she was still in the tournament for the Knockouts Women's Television Championship. I'm not sure if she's still in the tournament. I quit watching TNA when I stopped covering it. I needed a break from TNA. It was just really bad. Everybody's leaving. So I think I kind of did the right thing by not streaming TNA anymore. Yeah, it's a good picture, man. Good picture for sure. Shout out to GW Media page for reposting the stream. So Jada Parker and Thea Hale in tag team action tonight. As I mentioned, Thea Hale defeated the women's NXT women's Evolve champion Nikita Lyons last Wednesday on Evolve. She is more than likely now the number one contender for Nikita's championship. And Nikita is going to be teaming up tonight with Carmen Petrovic to take on Jada and Thea Hale. And they're going to be accompanied by the low-key legend herself, Miss Natty. Their entrance was pretty dope. Natty, Nikita's, and Carmen's, so loving that. This feud is ultimately going to continue for a while. We're going to get another Jada and Natty match. We saw Thea Hale throw the towel in for the second one, so we're ultimately going to get part 3 at some point. Maybe we get it a Heat Wave. I don't know. I think that'd be great. Jada is not far. In my opinion, from the main roster, but I think she needs to stay down. Like I said, Raw or SmackDown is completely stacked right now. I mean, there's women that's not even getting used on the SmackDown roster. So, I mean, Jordan Grace, where are you at? Abby Nile, which I believe she's on Raw, but I don't know. There's several women that's not being used. Blake Monroe, which happy birthday to her. Her and Tom Brady have the same birthday, so that's crazy. But today's her. I saw today was her birthday on Instagram. So shout out to her, but she's got to get on television. Hopefully they push her moving forward because ever since she came to the main roster from NXT, she's been kind of a dud, truthfully. Doing vignettes and stuff like that. So, but we'll go ahead and get to the tag team match. It's Jada Parker and Thea Hill taking on the WWE Evolve Women's Champion Nikita Lyons and Carmen Petrovic, which you can catch Carmen as well on AAA. So there's going to be a big event coming up. I believe it's in somewhere in Chicago, close to Chicago. The Worlds Collide. You're going to see a lot of people from WWE on that card, so it's going to be really big. It's definitely going to be a counter for All Out, AEW's All Out. Once I'm done with reality television on Thursday, I will be starting up at AEW. Maybe I'm recapping both of the AEW shows for the week or something like that. We'll see how it works out. Still a long ways to go with Big Brother. It's only week 4. There's still at least 12 more weeks left. So, or no, not maybe 8 weeks, something like that. So, still a couple of months left for that. So, still got time to figure that out. So, we get the tag team match. Natty is out there at ringside with Nikita and Carmen. So the match starts off with Jada Parker and Carmen in the ring. They lock up. Carmen then applies a side headlock. Jada Parker then hits a shoulder tackle. They're dancing around. Her and Thea dancing around in there. Before the match, Nikita was doing the little step up that Jada does, and I love Nikita, but she wasn't even getting close. It was bad. Thea Hill is now the legal woman in the ring. She hits a body slam. Carmen fights back. She delivers a kick before tagging Nikita Lyons in, the women's Evolved champion. But then Thea Hill and Jada Parker, they hit a clothesline to Carmen and Nikita, and they follow it up with a suicide dive. They were on the back half of the ring, and they dove through the middle ropes, and Thea took out Nikita, and Jada took out Carmen. The suicide dive. So nice move there by both the ladies. Back in the ring, Jada Parker then misses a hypnotic. This was outside the ring. Sorry. Jada Parker goes for the hypnotic on the outside, but Carmen moves out of the way, and Jada runs into the ring steps. She ran straight into the steel steps. And then this is the advantage for Natty being out there for Carmen and Nikita. The referee is distracted by Jada running into the steel steps. Natty comes up from behind. Thea Hill attacks her. Back in the ring, Nikita Lyons then hits Thea Hill with a plunge for only a count of 2, though. Interesting stuff there, almost a pin. Nikita then continues to beat down on Thea Hill. Carmen Petrovic enters the ring. Thea then tries to fight back. Carmen sends her into the corner. Nikita then hits a series of strikes. Thea Hill then tries to create some separation between the two, but Nikita grabs her foot. Nikita then hits a clothesline. Carmen then comes in. She hits Nikita and Carmen with a double clothesline. Jada Parker then hits a Hurricane Rana to Nikita Lyons. Parker then hits an elbow to Carmen Petrovic. And then Jada Parker then hits a thunderous chop to Carmen as well. But Natty, the big distraction out on the other side of the ring, causes a distraction, allowing Carmen Petrovic and Nikita Lyons to regain control. But Thea Hill comes to the aid. So the fight then spills to the outside. But back in the ring, Jada Parker hits a hypnotic to Natty. Interesting stuff there. Told you it's going to be a part 3 with those two ladies. Then Jada Parker then hits a series of chops to Nikita, and she follows it up with a hypnotic. And Thea Hale then hits the final blow to Nikita Lyons for the 1, 2, 3, 4. So in consecutive weeks, Thea Hale has pinned the WWE Women's Evolve champion. So will Thea be the one that takes the title off of Nikita? We will see. Big win for Thea Hale and Jada Parker. Hopefully we get some more semblance of this feud. I don't know how much longer they can really toke this thing out. They've done a tag match. I guess they could get a couple of more singles matches out of it. But ultimately, this sure is going to culminate with Jada Parker and Natty in the end. So big win for Jada and Thea Hale as they are victorious. After the match, though, Natty launches a 3-on-2 attack on Jada and Thea with Nikita and Carmen joining in on the fray. Natty then accidentally takes out Nikita Lyons with their clothesline, allowing Thea Hale to hit a headbutt. Jada Parker sends Carmen and Petrovic packing. And so Jada and Thea Hale stand tall again. So I don't know. This feud is going to continue on. Jada Parker and Thea Hale against the other two. We could see Layla Diggs when she comes back. Maybe she is the one that ends up joining up with Thea Hale and Jada Parker to make this a 3-on-3. That's where we could be going. Because Layla Diggs went to Natty and asked for her to recruit Jada into the group. So I'll drink some tea. My throat's been terrible today. So we see the men's NXT North American champion, Miles Bourne, in the backstage area with his partner for the night as they're challenging the Vanity Project for the NXT Tag Team Championship, Tavion Height. They earned that. Miles Bourne getting the win last week. Or Tavion getting the win, I believe. Tavion asked Miles if he's ready since it's the biggest match of his career. Miles Bourne says he's locked in and will go all out tonight. Tavion then says he doesn't know what he will do if they don't win the match. Miles Bourne tells him not to worry about it and to relax. The two are pumped up for the NXT Tag Team Championship match. So we see Tony D, the men's NXT champion, in the backstage area. And then we get a recap of the Brock Lesnar versus Obafemi in a Hell in a Cell match, which I've already talked about this in extended length. I love what Brock did for Ova. I'm putting him over as the next big star, but this match definitely did not need to be in a cell. The cell was not used. They could have just done a street fight, but neither here nor there. SummerSlam is over with. So we see Brock Lesnar confirm his retirement via the Pat McAfee show earlier tonight. As I said at the beginning of the broadcast, Brock Lesnar said he thanked everybody for everything, said he's getting old and he's ready to go hunting. So time to pack it in for the beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar. Will we see him again? I believe we will. Maybe he gets inducted in Saudi Arabia. We will see. We will see. I think that'd be cool. So we get the WWE NXT champion, Tony D. He makes his way down to the ring. Tony D then recalls Grayson Waller disrespecting the whole NXT brand last week. Tony D then says Grayson Waller is delusional if he thinks he is going to win his NXT championship to get back to the main roster. Tony D then says Grayson Waller is old news. Tony then says then shifts his focus. He shifts his focus to Cruz, Montana. It's going to take me a while to get away from Mike Santana to Cruz, Montana. Tony D then says Montana made things very clear, but Tony D calls Montana out to the ring. But Grayson Waller, like I said, he's not going away. He cuts him off. Grayson tells Tony D that he's bored already He says he's been the talk of the wrestling world lately. He put the whole NXT men's locker room on notice. Grayson didn't tell Tony D. He said he will go through him. Tony D then asked Grayson Waller to come to the ring so they can talk face to face. Tony D then calls Grayson Waller the B word, which I do not say on the stream. Tony D then recalls teaming up with Grayson Waller in War Games, which he did. Tony D then mocks Grayson Waller for not winning any titles since then. Tony D then says Grayson Waller came back to NXT to become relevant again. Some good shots there. Grayson can't make it on the main roster. Grayson Waller then says he knows Tony D lost his family, but didn't know that Tony D lost his, what, between his legs too. So we get the newly acquired Cruz Montana. He shows up. He admits that Grayson Waller rattled some cages last week. Cruz Montana then says he's the man that he says he is. Montana then says Waller's got a chip on his shoulder, but Montana then says he's got one too because he's got no other option. Montana then says the difference between the two of them is that he spent years proving he belongs here. Cruz Montana says Grayson Waller spent years trying to prove to others that they should notice him. Waller then wonders why Montana cares about what the people think. Grayson Waller then says, how many times are you going to tell me the same stories over and over again? Grayson says he has embraced his demons. Cruz Montana then tells Grayson he only fights for himself. Then he also says it won't get him nowhere. Tells Grayson Waller what he's doing not going to get him anywhere. Cruz Montana that says when you have people depend on you, people you have to feed, and people who hold you accountable, that is what you need to do. Tony D then says he doesn't care what their motivations are. Tony D then tells them to talk to Robert Stone, figure it out, and he will see the winner at NXT Heatwave on August the 30th. So that match was made official for next week on NXT. Cruz Montana will be having his first match on NXT television. He's going one-on-one with Grayson Waller with the winner. Moving on to NXT Heatwave to face Tony D for the NXT Men's Championship. So we take a look at the long history between Lola Vice and Kendall Gray. The long history when Lola was a champ, when Lola won the championship from JT Jane, all the way up to when her and Kendall, her and Kendall's matches, which have all been phenomenal. So we can see Ren Sinclair, the women's speed champion. She's backstage with Kendall Gray. She said there's more at stake than her title match. Ren then says Kendall Gray has her match and she feels they are over their heads. Kendall then says they want the pressure. Kendall Gray then tells Ren Sinclair they have this tonight. So we're going to go ahead and I lost my notes. Sorry, guys. Going to go get ready for the next match of the night. It's going to be, so this match was made official last week. Ren Sinclair, the women's NXT Speed Champion, will be facing Zarya, the NXT North American Champion. If Ren Sinclair is able to retain her title, then she will receive a NXT Women's North American Championship, which that match is made official for next week as well. Ren did not win this match by pinfall, but she did retain her title. These speed matches have a 5-minute time limit, so when you're the champion, you just have to make sure you don't get pinned in 5 minutes. So, but we'll go through it, the match. Sorry about that. I'm trying to get back where it was. Definitely was a decent match, but they just go so fast. So this is WWE Women's Speed Championship match. This match is for Ren's title, by the way, as well. So if Zarya was to win, she would be 2-belt Zarya. Having some difficulties, guys. Sorry. I thought for sure, maybe, just maybe Zarya wins because it seems like they're booking Zarya pretty much the same way that they did with Sol Ruka, but we didn't get that. We didn't get that. Sol Ruka's the last woman to hold the NXT North American Championship and the Speed Championship at the same time. So thought maybe they were going to have Zarya follow in her footsteps, but they did not. So this is for the Speed Championship. Brandon Sinclair is going to defend against the WWE Women's NXT North American Champion Zarya. So the two ladies are in the ring, 5-minute time limit. So gotta get going pretty quick. The match was off with Zarya hoisting Brandon Sinclair up, but Brandon Sinclair applies a side headlock. Zarya then hits a big boot, but she then misses an elbow. Zarya then sends Ren into the corner. She hits a series of right hands. Ren Sinclair then hits a shoulder tackle. Zarya then goes for a chokeslam, but Ren Sinclair fights out of it. Sinclair then hits an arm drag takedown. Zarya runs into an elbow. Ren Sinclair then heads to the top rope. Zarya trips her up, sends her into the post. Got 5 minutes, and it goes by quick. Zarya then hits an elbow drop to Ren Sinclair. Zarya then hits a pump kick. Zarya then goes for a cover, but Ren Sinclair kicks out at 2. Ren Sinclair then runs into an elbow, and it looks like her nose is hurt from that vantage point. The referee then checks on her. Both women are back into the match. They both trade strikes in the middle of the ring. Ren's nose is okay. Zarya then runs into a drop kick. Ren then hits a double underhook butterfly suplex, but Zarya kicks out at 2. She then heads to the top rope and hits a cross body, but then both women spill to the outside. So then Zarya, with about 5 seconds left, goes for the F5, but then Ren reverses it and puts her finisher in, and the time limit expires. There is no winner. The referee calls for the bell since neither woman could beat the clock. So we have a draw, which means that Ren Sinclair will retain the Women's NXT Speed Championship. She will be facing Zarya again next week for the Women's NXT North American Championship. But after the match, Zarya punches Ren Sinclair, hits her with the Brock Lesnar type F5. Will we see a new Women's NXT North American Champion next week? We will see. I don't think so, but we'll see. So we see Lucian Price and Bronco Nima in the locker room, OTM. Bronco apologizes for last week and says it cost them. Lucian Price said Bronco did what he had to do. Bronco then says he wants to make sure they are good. But then Birthright shows up and reminds OTM that they are right. They then say OTM is crumbling. Lucian Price challenges Lexis King to a match. Uriah Connor says he has to go through a tournament to face Lexis King. Lexis King is the men's NXT Speed champion who never defends the title. It is Brian Pillman's son, by the way, if you guys did not know. Lexis King is the son of the late, great Brian Pillman. Lucian Price then says he wants a singles match. So, got a lot of stuff going on with OTM and the Birthright. When will Lexis King ever defend the men's Speed Championship? That's a great question. So we see Grayson Waller in the back with Kalani Jordan. These two had an interaction last week as well. Kalani says that Grayson Waller was right about the 10% of women ready for the main roster part. Kalani then says Waller had plenty of chances at the NXT Championship, though, while she is still waiting for her first. So they're definitely still playing up the story of Kalani Jordan never getting her championship match, which maybe they do give it to her. I don't know. I don't believe Kendall's dropping anytime soon, nor should she drop the title anytime soon. She's the best on the roster. So Kalani then says she promises to win the NXT Women's Championship on her very first attempt. She tells Grayson Waller that. And Grayson Waller throws the Carmelo line to her, says about don't miss or shoot or whatever Carmelo says. So that is her man. So it's funny. Mason Rook, out of nowhere, he comes up to Grayson Waller, puts him on notice, but then Cam Hendricks, Maxine Dupree's husband, then ambushes Mason Rook, and the brawl is underway. So interesting stuff there. Cam Hendricks and Mason Rook are very talented and just came up to the NXT roster. So it looks like they have a feud ongoing with Cam and Mason Rook. Didn't know, Cam Hendricks is obviously married to Maxine Dupree. Shout out to the Wild Man for reposting the stream. And we're already 40 minutes in. Holy cow. So we're going to the NXT Tag Team Championship match. Vanity Project. Coming to the ring by Jackson Drake and Mika Lockwood. Will be defending their titles against Tavion Heights and the men's NXT North American champion Miles Bourne. So the match starts off with Tavion Heights and Ricky Smokes. And Ricky Smokes and Tavion Heights deliver a shoulder tackle. Then Tavion sends Ricky Smokes into the canvas and follows it up with a power slam for only a count of 2. Miles Bourne is now the legal man. He hits Ricky Smokes with the angle slam. I call Miles Bourne Baby Randy. He does a lot of moves that's very similar to Randy Orton, and he is dating Stephanie Valcour, so everybody knows exactly who Miles Bourne is. Miles hits a clothesline, but Brad Baylor tries to interfere, but he runs into a standing drop kick. Very good technical wrestler, Miles Bourne is for sure. Miles Bourne sends Brad Baylor into the corner with authority. Tavion Heights then runs into a jumping knee from Brad Baylor, and the Vanity Project starts to regain control of the match. But Tavion Heights fights back. He tosses Ricky Smokes across the ring, throws Brad Baylor before tagging Miles Bourne in. Miles Bourne then hits an elbow to Brad Baylor and a spine buster to Ricky Smokes. Jackson Drake on the outside. Getting involved in the match helps Ricky Smokes, allowing them to regain control of the match. Ricky Smokes then begins to pound away at Miles Bourne. The Vanity Project then continued to beat down on Miles. Brad Baylor then hits a big right hand, and Miles Bourne is struggling to get back to his feet. Ricky Smokes then delivered a big knee to Miles Bourne. Brad Baylor and Miles Bourne now exchanging strikes in the middle of the ring. Tavion Heights comes in and hits an overhead belly-to-belly to Ricky Smokes. Tavion Heights then hits a clothesline, but only for a count of 2. Vanity Project are tough to put away. Miles Bourne then hits a standing drop kick. Tavion Heights follows it up with a sit-down powerbomb, and Brad Baylor saves the day before they lose the titles right there. Ricky Smokes then hits a Meteora on Miles Bourne. Miles Bourne then hits a power slam on Brad Baylor. Then the Vanity Project then hit a double knee. But then Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights then hit both members of Vanity Project with a power slam. The referee has caught Jackson Drake trying to get involved in the match, and he ejects Jackson Drake from ringside. The distraction then allows Miles Bourne to hit Bourne again to Ricky Smokes. Bourne then sends Brad Baylor over the top rope into the floor, and then Tavion Heights hits Ricky Smokes with the Heights of Glory for the 1, 2, 3. And now we have new men's NXT Tag Team Champions, and we have a double champion. Miles Bourne is the NXT Men's North American Champion, and now the one half of the NXT Tag Team Champion. Tavion Heights gets a title. Happy for Tavion and Miles. After the match, Jackson Drake is pissed off. He has said he is going to talk to Robert Stone about the officiating, which I'm sure they're going to get a rematch. That's all that's going to happen from that. But this is where we see the Mika Lockwood, Kiana Carver encounter again. They have the stare down again. I do believe it's leading to something with Mika and Kiana Carver. So we'll see. So we go backstage. Another match is going to happen next week. We see the Cullen confronting Lizzie Rain. Izzy Dane says the result would have been different if it weren't for Shawn Spears. So Shawn Spears then walks up to them and says Robert Stone booked a mixed tag team match for next week. Lizzie Rain then says she doesn't trust Shawn Spears, And if things go sideways, it will be 3-on-1. Shawn Spears then calls Lizzie Rain a smart girl. So we're going to get the Cullen, Izzy Dame against Shawn Spears and Lizzie Rain next week on NXT. Card's looking really good for next week. So after the stare down, Kiana Carver makes his way down to the ring. She's going to go one-on-one with EK Prosper. A singles match. EK Prosper is 2-0 against Kiana Carver so far. Kiana Carver is slowly starting to figure it out. He's been this enraged heel since coming up to the NXT roster. It looks like, for me, it kind of looks like they're slowly trying to turn him babyface. And he's trying to win matches different ways. So they are very high on Kiana Carver. So it's going to be a slow process, but he's going to be a mega star for sure. So we get Kiana Carver versus EK Prosper one-on-one. The match starts off, they're both men lock up. Kiana then overpowers EK Prosper and tosses him across the ring. Kiana Carver then runs into a big boot from EK. Prosper then hits a knee and he follows it up with a moonsault off the second rope. Then EK Prosper then hits Kiana Carver with a huge drop kick. But then Kiana Carver does the exact same, hits him with a drop kick as well. EK Prosper then sends Kiana Carver outside. The fight then spills to the outside. EK Prosper then hits a double stomp to the spine of Kiana Carver. Back in the ring, EK Prosper has a crossbody for a count of 2. But then Kiana Carver then sends EK Prosper spine first into the corner and he follows it up with a power slam. But EK kicks out at 2. So Kiana Carver then hits a snap suplex on EK and then he follows it up with a backbreaker. Kiana then hits Prosper with a huge clothesline. Kiana Carver then applies a rear chinlock, hits an Irish whip to EK Prosper, and now he's in complete control of the match. EK tries to fight back, but Kiana begins to target his midsection. EK then hits a series of jabs and a super kick, and hits a moonsault, and he follows up with a DDT, but Kiana kicks out at 2. EK then heads to the top rope and hits a blockbuster swanton style move off the top rope. And then EK then hits a jumping enziguri onto Kiana Carver. Now, when they were outside of the ring, EK threw Kiana Carver almost into Booker T. You can see that Kiana apologized to Booker T, which they have not. Kiana has been after Booker T since he come up to the roster. So, like I said, it looks like they're doing a slow turn with Kiana Carver. So both men begin to trade strikes in the middle of the ring, and then Kiana Carver then hits a German suplex and then hits EK Prosper with a power bomb for only a count of 2. EK Prosper then hits another standing drop kick and hits a Shining Wizard. He heads to the top rope and hits a moonsault, but Kiana Carver gets his knees up, and Kiana Carver puts EK Prosper in a small package for the 1, 2, 3. Kiana Carver wins with a roll-up small package. Like I said, he's trying different moves, and that is not how Kiana Carver has not been. That is not how he's been winning matches. We're getting a change up for Kiana Carver. They're definitely trying to. Looks like they're trying to turn him into a babyface. So good stuff there from Kiana Carver. Love seeing that. He wins the match with a small package. After the match, EK Prosper gets a pat on the back from Kiana Carver, which that is definitely something that Kiana Carver does not do. So getting the babyface turn looks like for Kiana Carver. He is victorious one-on-one. He wins via a small package over EK Prosper. So we go to the back. We see Cutler James and Osiris Griffin from Dark State. They're talking with Dion Lennox about getting another shot at Saquon Sugars. Dion Lennox says he was put through a wall. He then said, "Do you call that a win?" Dion then says he wants them to be untouchable like they used to be. Dion then says, "You are content being a team put together a week before the match. Saquon is still out there." Deanna says, "Are you happy being called soft and complacent?" Deanna says, "If so, what are we doing here?" He is visibly upset. Deanna says, "Next week, they make sure that Saquon doesn't walk away from them." So the feud continued with Dark State and Saquon Sugars. Dark State wants to get back to the top of NXT. So we get a video from Shiloh Hill. As I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, it's like he's going to be out for a while. Shiloh Hill says he fractured part of his skull and will be out of action for a while. And goes through a bunch of different things talking about things that's happened in the past from WWE. Shiloh Hill talks about Cam Hendricks' comments about his injury. He wonders about Cam Hendricks' injury. He also talks about Bruno Sammartino, which is interesting. Shiloh Hill was bringing up a lot of facts from the past of WWE. But best wishes to Shiloh Hill. Hopefully, speedy recovery, and we get him back in the ring for NXT as he was on a roll before he got hurt. So we get a video package paying tribute to Dory Funk Jr., who passed away at the age of 85. So, once again, thoughts and prayers with Dory Funk Jr. and his family as he passed away today at the age of 85. So we see Robert Stone, and he's talking to a free agent on the phone, which has the internet in a buzz. So can you show up next week? So whoever this person is, they will be on NXT television next week. So look forward to seeing who that could be. Is it Enzo Amore? Is it Zilla Fatu? Is it Mar Sade? I don't think so. I do believe she's headed to AEW, but I believe she's with Kevin Knight. So I think that she'll be headed to AEW. So we'll see. Robert Stone then makes Grayson Waller versus Cruz Montana official for next week, with the winner moving on to face Tony D'Angelo at NXT Heatwave. But Tristan Angel shows up, and he tells Cruz Montana, he says, "I don't think that you have earned an opportunity for the NXT Championship." Cruz then talks about the work he put in last year. Cruz then asked Tristan Angel, said, "How long have you been here?" Tristan said, 3 months. He said, "Well, who is the rookie here?" Not him. Cruz Montana is already making an impact on NXT. Next week, he faces Grayson Waller in a #1 contenders match for the movement on to whoever wins will move on to NXT Heatwave to face Tony D'Angelo for the NXT Championship. So let's go through the matches next week. It is then announced that next week, Cruz Montana will face Grayson Waller in a WWE NXT Championship #1 contenders match. Zarya faces Ren Sinclair for the NXT Women's North American Championship. Shawn Spears and Lizzie Rain will face the Cullens, Izzy Dame, and Nico Vance next week. And Saquon Sugars will go one-on-one again with Dion Lennox. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 matches, 4 solid matches next week, and a free agent showing up. So we're getting ready for the main event of NXT, the match we've all been waiting for. Looks like for me personally, I believe this was Lola's last match on NXT. She has done everything she could do on the NXT roster. The ring is now ready for the NXT Underground match. And you can see people are standing around the ring. That's how the Underground works. Lola Vice is undefeated in the NXT Underground match. Lola Vice makes her way out first, followed by the Women's NXT Champion, Kendall Gray, with Ren Sinclair. So, here we go for the Women's NXT Championship in a Underground match. As I said, Lola Vice has never been beaten in a Underground match. Kendall Gray is definitely out of her element. A little bit of an underdog. We'll see if she comes out on top. The match starts off with both women exchanging kicks. Kendall Gray and Lola Vice in attempt there both attempt to put their submissions on, but Lola then slams Kendall Gray down and pounds away at her. The fight then spills to the outside. Kendall Gray then hits a Hurricane Rana, but then Lola Vice applies a guillotine on Kendall Gray. Kendall Gray then sends Lola Vice into the steel steps. But then Lola Vice sends Kendall Gray face first into the steel steps. And at this point, everybody's concerned, especially Ren Sinclair, because Kendall Gray is her ear she is busted open from her ear. She's bleeding profusely from her ear. The referee is checking on her to see if she can keep going. Kendall Gray is now bleeding from her ear. She received medical help at ringside. She is going to continue on in the match. Kendall Gray then gets a takedown. Lola Vice then takes Kendall Gray out with a kick, and she targets Kendall's midsection. Lola Vice then hits a back suplex to Kendall Gray, and she continues to apply the pressure. Kendall Gray then hits a kick, and she follows it up with a German suplex and then tosses Lola Vice across the ring. Kendall Gray then hits another German suplex, but then Kendall Gray collapses. Lola Vice then sends Kendall Gray outside the ring again, but back in the ring, Lola Vice delivers a kick, but then Kendall Gray then applies an ankle lock in the middle of the ring, and then Lola Vice then applies an ankle lock of her own. Both women then trade strikes, and they're going back and forth in the middle of the ring. Lola Vice then throws some body shots, then throws a back fist. Kendall Gray then hits a reverse elbow, and both women are down. Then Lola Vice then applies a sleeper hold. But then Kendall Gray fights back and she puts an armbar on Lola Vice. Lola Vice then hits a right hand. Kendall Gray then runs into a back elbow from Lola. Lola then takes out the referee with a spinning back fist. So we have a referee bump. The referee is knocked out by Lola Vice with the spinning back fist. There is no official. Lola Vice then applies a sleeper hold on Kendall Gray. Kendall Gray is actually out, but Ren Sinclair starts beating on the ring, telling Kendall Gray, "Wake up! You got this! You got this!" At this time, there is no referee. So Lola Vice turns around and goes and tries to wake the referee up to tell the referee that Kendall Gray is out. While she is doing that, Kendall Gray finally gets back up to her feet and delivers a super kick. But then Lola Vice hits a spinning heel kick and begins to pound away at Kendall Gray. But then Kendall Gray, out of nowhere, applies an armbar, and Lola Vice taps out. So this is the first time that Lola Vice has ever lost in the NXT Women's Underground match. Kendall Gray defeats Lola Vice in the Underground match with a busted open ear. So the winner of the NXT Underground match is still the WWE Women's NXT Champion, one half of Ren QCC, Kendall Gray. She is one tough cookie in there. After the match, both women hug, and Kendall Gray raises Lola Vice's arm as a show of respect to her, and that is how the show comes to a close. So, what a show of respect between these two ladies. Future is bright. Lola Vice, best wishes to her on the SmackDown roster. And I'm sure you'll see her some more in AAA as well. So it's a good show. Let's once again go over the matches for next week. Before we get out of here, we are going to just go a little bit over an hour tonight, guys, which is just perfect for NXT. It's only a 2-hour show, so with only about 45 minutes or so, about 50 minutes worth of wrestling. So it is then announced next week, Cruz Montana goes one-on-one with Grayson Waller in a WWE NXT Championship #1 contenders match. The winner moving on to NXT Heatwave to face Tony D'Angelo. We've seen Ren Sinclair. She retained the WWE Women's NXT Speed Championship by a result of a draw against Zarya and has earned a NXT Women's North American Championship match, and she will face Zarya next week for her NXT Women's North American Championship. We're also going to see Shawn Spears and Lizzie Rain Definitely a wild duo there. And mixed tag team match against the Cullens, Izzy Dame, and Nico Vance. And then Saquon Sugar goes one-on-one with Dion Lennox next week on NXT television. So that is it, guys, for your NXT recap. Definitely a good show. Some good matches next week. They are definitely building towards NXT Heatwave with a free agent coming out next week. Who will it be? Who will it be? Remains to be seen. So let's do some shout outs here, guys. Shout out to the World of Greg and at DWE Family Media for reposting the stream and DWE Media page as well. Shout out to Tyler with the Jake Paul profile picture. I saw you last night. Thank you for coming back in. If you guys are watching live on YouTube, please make sure to hit that like button. If you guys are still watching on YouTube. Shout out to Al Simmons, C8C. Grayson, it's not believable. Thank you for coming in. Once again, if you guys are watching live on YouTube, please make sure to hit that like button. It does help me out. Only have about 56 people in here, but that's okay. It's NXT. It's about normal for NXT shows. So shout out to the DWE Media page as well for reposting the stream and the Wise Man. So we are live. Like I said, once again, we are live on my YouTube page, my X page, and DWE's television's X page. Let me go over everyone affiliated with DWE television and what everyone has coming up. So starting off with the CEO himself, Miami the Great. You've seen him, I believe, I'm not sure if he was live earlier today, but I guess maybe Thursday. He will be live with the NFL Inside the Mind with Miami. Catch it on DWE television, on X, also on Talk It Up podcast. On YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button to Talk It Up podcast. On Twitch, DWE TV, DWE television on Twitch. You can catch them usually on every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Also on Saturdays, Miami and Final Boss Baby, the CFO and the HR of DWE. Make sure you follow her. You can catch them with DWE Radio every Saturday. That will be live on DWE television, X, on Talk It Up podcast to YouTube, DWE TV and DWE television on Twitch, and also on Spotify. Make sure you tune in every Saturday to DWE Radio. Also, make sure you follow the DWE Media page as well on Twitter, X, whatever the cool kids are calling it. And the World of Greg. Make sure you follow him as well. And Kyle the Man Anthony as they are live. Saw them yesterday at 7 p.m. Eastern time usually. Yesterday, I think they went live an hour earlier, but it's usually 7 p.m. Eastern time for the rundown as they will get you ready for the upcoming Raw show every Monday night. Catch them for the rundown. Speaking of Kyle the Man Anthony, he has a show as well. You will see me on that show tomorrow night. I'm going to go through that with you at the end of the stream. But if I give Kyle the Man Anthony a follow, he not only does a rundown on Mondays, every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, you can catch Kyle the Man Anthony and myself for Queens of WWE. Tomorrow will be episode number 8. We will be going over everything that's happened in the women's division from SummerSlam, Raw, and from NXT tonight. So make sure you guys tune in to that tomorrow. That will be also live on my YouTube channel, DWE Television's X page, my X page as well. So make sure you guys tune in to that. Also, After the Slam podcast on X, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, Smoke Sessions Podcast, and Sports Jedi Network as well. So that is everyone affiliated with and Gimmick Table Media. Shout out to everyone from Gimmick Table Media as well. That is everyone affiliated. So I will be back shortly, guys, to tell you guys where you can find me on my socials and what I have coming up for the rest of this week.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
There are a lot of podcasts out there, but only one with this kind of energy.
Welcome to EVP Show Recap Predictions. Sports let go, let go, let show recap predictions. prediction sports
in one podcast.
Welcome to EVP Show Recaps Prediction Sports. Let go, let go, let go.
Once again, this has been your NXT Recap Tuesday, August 4th, 2026. Thank you guys for coming in. As far as where you can find me on my socials, it is scrolling across the bottom of the screen in white with the blue line across. All my links are in my bio. You can find me on X at EVPCJP. Go all the way up to the top of my X page. You will find my YouTube pinned at the top. You can hit that retweet button. We're on the road to 400 subscribers. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you have not subscribed to the EVP show. You can find me on Instagram at EVPCJP, where you will find all of my upcoming videos made by Miami and the World of Greg for my upcoming streams. You can find my YouTube page in my bio as well on Instagram. On TikTok, you can find me at Brady the Goat 21 at BRADY Goat 21. Once again, it is a business account, but you can find all my upcoming videos. For my upcoming stream, you can already see the thong and that's ready for the Queens of WWE episode number 8 tomorrow on my Instagram and my TikTok as well. Speaking of Brady and the GOAT, happy birthday to the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. Been to 10 Super Bowls, won 7. Greatest comeback on Super Bowl history, down 28-3 to Atlanta Falcons at halftime. The GOAT himself, TV12, Tom Brady. So I did put a post out on Twitter. Shout out to Tom Brady. Happy birthday. Hope you had a good one. In my eyes, the greatest football quarterback I've ever been able to see. Obviously, they got some up and comers, the Patrick Mahomes and stuff like that, and Josh Allen and Lamar Jacksons that are going to be in conversation when they get Brady's age. But as of right now, 10 Super Bowls, 7 rings. He is the GOAT of quarterbacks. So shout out to him. Happy birthday. So last but not least, most importantly, my YouTube channel. If you cannot find it on any of my social media platforms, just go to that search bar in the top right-hand corner and type in at the EVP show, where you can find over 1,000 live videos, over 300 to 400, maybe 500 YouTube shorts, and some pre-recorded videos as well. Once again, that's at the EVP show. If you're already subscribed, turn the notification bell on, and you can come. It notifies you when I go live. You can come join me for my daily wrestling content. So what I have coming up for the rest of this week, Wednesday, tomorrow, we'll be live on my YouTube channel, my X page, and also on DWE Television X page. You can join me as I will be the co-host, joining the host, Kyle the Man Anthony, at 8 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow night for Queens of WWE, episode number 8. Number 8. 8 and running. Thursday night, I switch gears from wrestling. Get a small little break from wrestling. Who won the HOH this week? Who were the 2 nominees? Who won the Golden Power of Veto? Was the veto used? Who will win the Big Brother Blockbuster? And who will join Rome, Jason, and Ashley as the 4th member evicted from the Big Brother house? Join me Thursday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time for the Big Brother Season 28 Week 4 recap show. And then Friday night, we've seen some crazy stuff happen at SummerSlam with Kevin Owens returning and the Viper Randy Orton. What will be the fallout from SummerSlam? Join me Friday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time for your SmackDown recap show. And then Saturday, I have no stream. But come back here Sunday. It's the last doubleheader Sunday for a while. It will be my last LFG show of the season. I will pick up season 4 when it starts, but this is going to be the end for me. Pretty much covered them all. I don't think there'll be too many more episodes. We're getting close to the end, but there will be my last LFG because it's really, really late. So, but it's doubleheader Sunday for the last time for a little while, at least until next season for LFG. You can join me at 6 p.m. Eastern Time for Sunday Night Scoop with the EVP. Make sure you are tuned in for all the latest news after SummerSlam, on the way to Saturday night's main event, and NXT Heatwave, and also Worlds Collide and Triple Mania coming up as well. So, and then come back for the second half of the doubleheader and my last episode of LFG this season. Join me for LFG Season 3, Episode 16 Recap Show. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the NXT Recap Show. I am the EVP from EVP Show and the Golden Boy of DWE. And DWE is the only place to be. Hopefully, you guys have a happy Wednesday. Come back and join us on DWE Television, on X, on my YouTube page, on my X page tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern for Queens of WWE with myself and the host, Kyle the Man Anthony. Enjoy you guys the rest of the night, and I will see you guys tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for Queens of WWE episode number 8. Good night, everyone.